I'll be speaking to Meir Baruchin. He's a veteran history and civics high school teacher in Israel. He showed sympathy to Palestinians in some social media posts. After October 7, he lost his job and was arrested. This year, he regained his position, but is facing opposition, hatred from administration and students at his school. Good evening.
Good evening, Stanley.
I first heard about your case from the interview on Democracy Now! That you did last November. And it said that because of these posts, you had been suspended from your teaching job and then arrested on suspicion of the intention to commit an act of treason. Could you give us the details of what happened to you?
Yes. First of all, I'm posting about the Palestinians more than 10 years. For most Israelis, the Palestinians are nothing more than vague image. If you say Palestinian, they automatically think terrorist. They have no name, no face, no family, no hope, no plans, nothing. So what I'm trying to do in my Facebook, I'm trying to humanize the Palestinians. So hopefully more Israelis would be able to see them as human beings and maybe communicate with them in non-violent ways. And I'm doing this for, like I said, for more than 10 years. Since October 7th, I began posting about entire families in Gaza that were wiped out, personal stories, in particular, women and children. Now, I'm working for the last 17 years in a school, in high school that belongs to the municipality of the city of Petah Tikva. It's near Tel Aviv. And this municipality is being ruled since 2018 by an extreme right-winger, a big supporter of Prime Minister Netanyahu. So I was called for a hearing on October 18th. The next day, I was fired. I began to look for an alternative. There were two principals that were willing to hire me right away, but on October 24th, the Ministry of Education suspended my license, so I couldn't go back and teach anywhere in the country. On the same day of my hearing in the city of Petah Tikva, the municipality people also filed a complaint against me at the Jerusalem police station. I live in Jerusalem, okay? I didn't know that at the time. On November 9th, I got a phone call from the police station ordering me to come over for an interrogation. I asked on what charge. They said sedition and incitement. On my way there, I called my lawyer, and he said that in order to interrogate an Israeli citizen for sedition and incitement, the police need an approval from the general attorney. The police did ask for this approval, but was rejected. The general attorney said there's no sedition and incitement in his posts. So the police decided to interrogate me on intention to commit an act of treason and intention to disrupt public order. The minute I walked into the police station, they cuffed my hands and legs. They confiscated my phone. 5 detectives escorted me to my apartment and ransacked the place upside down, top to bottom, searching for sedition and incitement material. Obviously, they didn't find anything. I was taken back to the police station for first interrogation that lasted 4 hours. In the first part, they presented 14 posts. Most of them were before October 7th. There were posts from 4 years ago, 2 years ago. They asked me, what did you mean? What was your goal? What do you think someone who reads your post will understand? The second part of the interrogation was more a rhetoric, trying to put words in my mouth. When you install the answer inside the question, you don't let the other person choose his answer. For example, they asked me, as someone who justifies and legitimizes the rapes committed by Hamas people on October 7th, don't you think that, that was their technique?
Mm.
After that, I was taken to the jailhouse in the Russian compound in Jerusalem. I was categorized high-risk detainee. They put me in solitary confinement. They took away my hand watch. I didn't know when it was nighttime, daytime. On the next day, November 10th, there was a court hearing. The judge decided to extend my detention until November 13th. Then I was taken back to my cell. I wasn't present at the courtroom because I'm a high-risk detainee, so they put me in a video conference room. I began to count the hours. Every hour and a half, 2 hours, I did some physical training. On November 12th, they took me to a second interrogation, and they used the same technique, trying to put words in my mouth. At some point, the interrogator said that my Facebook posts are just like the protocols of the elders of Zion. I don't know if you're familiar with this.
Sure.
One of the most anti-Semitic documents ever been written. It's 100 pages. Now, I'm a history teacher, so I asked them, did you ever read the protocols of the elders of Zion? There was no comment. The next day, I was released and began my motion at the District Labor Court in Tel Aviv. On January...
Let me stop you for a second. So
okay.
you talk about these interrogations. Now, in the U.S., people have the right to remain silent. Does that exist in Israel, that right to remain silent?
Yes, you have a right to remain silent, but if you do, it means you have something to hide. And it doesn't always serve your benefit. I have nothing to hide. So I didn't remain silent.
I see. Now, you mentioned something about rape. One of your tweets had something to do with rape, and the media claimed you were justifying rapes on October 7th. Could you explain that?
Yes. First of all, I posted on October 11th a post strongly condemning everything Hamas people committed on October 7th, including rapes. You know, in my wildest imagination, I never thought I would have specifically condemned acts of rape. I thought every reasonable person would be able to understand that without my explanation. Nevertheless, in the WhatsApp group of the teachers at the high school, one teacher wrote that IDF soldiers never raped Palestinian women. And she is wrong, because IDF soldiers did that in the war of 1948 and ever since. And I sent some documentation to prove that, okay? But it was no use. I mean, people were so shocked on October 7th that it was impossible to have a reasonable conversation with them. I asked, why are we going to Gaza? What are our goals? What is our tactics? What is our exit strategy? And now, after more than 6 months, what did we achieve? I mean, I tried to raise a conversation with my fellow teachers, but it was impossible. You know, all those people that blamed me for writing this note about the rapes, after I sent the documentation, they said it never happened. And then they said, okay, it happened only there were only a few incidents. And then they said it happened only in 1948. So I sent documentation. The last case was 2016, and another case 2017. You know, it's not that I'm comparing the IDF to the Hamas people who raped more women and who's more cruel. I just wanted to correct that particular teacher that wrote IDF soldiers never rape Palestinian women. It's wrong.
And they twisted that around and used it as a cudgel.
Yes, the police spokesman published a statement with lies. He wrote that I justified the rapes committed by Hamas people, and that's a lie.
I
But
understand.
the mainstream media, embraced the statement of the police spokesman, never even tried to challenge it, and of course, never asked for my response.
Yeah. So you were in jail, and after a number of days, you were let out. You were
Yeah,
this considered this high security risk, and then they let you out.
yeah.
Seems a little contradictory.
I'm very dangerous, can't you tell by seeing me?
You're wearing a red
Uh,
shirt. Well, okay.
yeah. The criminal case is still pending. I'm still facing charges. I mean, there will be no indictment, no trial. The general attorney wrote a letter to the head of interrogation department of the police, strongly criticizing him for my detention. But like I said, the case is still pending, the criminal case.
Now, at the time of your Democracy Now! Interview, you said the police had not returned your cell phone or your laptops. Did you
Yeah.
eventually get them back?
I was released on November 13th. The police gave me back my phone, my laptops, my disc on keys on December 3rd.
Okay. So your job is in Petah Tikva. May I ask the name of your high school?
It named after former Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir. That was the leader of a terrorist group prior to 1948. So if you want to deal with terrorism, why don't we start with the school?
And the group that in the early 40s made overtures to Nazi Germany for an alliance. That's not
Yes,
well known.
yes, and Mr. Yitzhak Shamir ordered to kill Eliyahu Giladi that met the representatives of Nazi Germany in Beirut and bury him in a secret place in the dunes of Rishon LeZion, south of Tel Aviv.
Interesting name for a school. Okay, so what did your fellow teachers say about your treatment once you were released?
Um, at the school, we have about 80 teachers. When I got there, after I got the temporary injunction of the labor court, only 4 or 5 teachers were brave enough to come up to me and shake my hand and show solidarity. The rest of the teachers ignored. Uh, Other than that, I get hundreds of response from other teachers that most of them I don't even know. All the response are off the records. They say that Mayor, I'm fully behind you, but I have children to support. Mayor, I'm with you, but I'm paying a mortgage. Mayor, I'm with you, but my daughter is getting married. Mayor, I'm with you, but we just started to redecorate the house.
Hmm.
They are afraid to speak up. They know that if you show the slightest sentiment towards the people of Gaza, if you dare to criticize the government, the Israeli government, you will be politically persecuted. You will go through public shaming. You will lose your job, and at least in my case, be put in jail.
Now, what about your union? The union defends the workers' rights. How about yours?
Yeah. Um, the teachers union. Look, half of the high schools in Israel belong to the municipalities. And between the municipalities and the teachers union, there's a give and take relations. Here we'll sacrifice this teacher. Next time you owe us, okay? So I didn't want to go with the union. I selected my own lawyer to represent me at the labor court. And the teachers union, almost 6 months, never said one single word about my case. They didn't even want to help me to fund my expenses uh, and pay. my lawyer, not a single dollar. Okay, they never said a single word about my case.
Wow. So
And
you hired your
I'm a member of this union 35 years.
so you hired your own lawyer, and the legal action was successful, at least at the first level. I want to read a paragraph from the Israeli newspaper Haaretz. It quotes the judge. It reads, in a hearing held last month, Judge Shavit criticized the municipality's conduct in Baruchin's dismissal process. I was surprised to find that there is no evidence and documentation for some of the municipality's claims, she told the city's representatives. You didn't present a single document. It's mind-blowing. You are a public body and the city's head is stuttering. A public entity cannot allow itself to act in this manner.
Yes, look, I'm working there for 17 years, okay? I was the supervisor of civic studies. I was the supervisor of history studies. I have dozens of thank you letters from students, from parents, from former principals, okay? The paragraph that you just read was from the uh, court decision of the temporary injunction that was given on January 13th. The hearing of the permanent injunction took place on March 20th. 10 witnesses appeared on my behalf. 3 former principals, 2 former students, 1 mother of a former student, 3 professors of education, and another friend, okay? And each of them gave a fantastic show. The court decision was given on April 2nd, ordered my immediate reinstatement.
So that was instead of a temporary injunction, it's a full injunction or
permanent injunction.
Permanent injunction. Okay. Well, so you went back to work. What was that like?
After the temporary injunction was given, the municipality spokesman said that the municipality intends to appeal. So I gave them 48 hours. I went to school on January 16th. The principal didn't expect me. She asked to talk to me and asked me to give her another 24 hours to prepare the school community, the students, the parents. I agreed. The next day I went to school. My working days are Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. So the next day I went to school was Friday, January 19th. On the day before, the principal sent me an email saying that she's anticipating a mass demonstration of the students outside the school gates. So she will take care of police presence and municipality security people unit. When I got there that morning, there was no police, there were no people from the municipal security unit, and the demonstration took place inside the school. My own students refused to enter the class, and dozens of students from the junior high students that I don't teach and I don't know surrounded the teacher's room. I was literally under siege. They cursed me, they spit at me. The municipality, after they lost the court case, they started a systematic campaign to delegitimize me in front of the school community. It was very, very violent. Every time I tried to get out, the students cursed and spit. When I tried to leave at the end of the day, they chased me to my car. And between January 19th to January 29th, I had 5 working days, and this was pretty much the picture.
Wow. Let me stop you for a second. So the junior high school students, they don't go to your school. They don't belong in your
They
school.
they do. It's two
Oh, it's together.
buildings. Yeah,
I
it's the
understand.
same compound. It's the same compound. Um, they were given green light to harass me. They knew they wouldn't be treated disciplinary. You know, there will be no sanctions against them.
And they
They
weren't
were,
punished.
yes, they were encouraged to leave class in other majors and harass me.
Yeah.
They were given green light. It was obvious.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and then the municipality and the Ministry of Education appealed to the National Labor Court. The hearing took place on January 30th, and the National Labor Court set a time frame of 2 months from February 1st to March 31st. In this period of time, I was not allowed to enter the class physically. They recorded my classes in the videotape and then broadcasted to the students. At the same time, the case went back to the district labor court, this time for a permanent injunction that, like I said, took place on March 20th.
So let me ask you about your classes. It's so bizarre. So you lectured, you recorded your lectures, and then the students were, did they have to listen? Did they write or do
No, no,
work?
no. I spoke to an empty class. I spoke to an empty class. They were not present at the other side of the camera. I spoke to the walls and the chairs. And then after that, they were supposed to broadcast it. There was no direct dialogue between myself and the students. I spoke to an empty class.
And what about after the permanent injunction? Is that the way it is now?
Yes, yes. As for now, the court decision said that I should be reinstated at the earliest possible time and no later than April 30th. So the principal asked me to come back on April 30th, which is the first day after Passover vacation.
And presumably you'll have students?
Who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
Who knows? Who knows? So you have family. How are they reacting?
They support me. I have 4 kids. They
Mm-hmm.
support me. For me, it's the most important thing. Um,
Are
yeah,
they
I
being
have.
harassed by their?
No, 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 no,
That's good.
no.
That's so good. What a terrible thing. What a terrible thing. Um, so let's close. I've been looking at some of your recent Facebook posts, as you mentioned earlier. Very sad pictures about what's happening to Palestinians. I remember the last one that I saw, a man talking about a whole section of his family was killed, and then
Yeah.
only his daughter was left, and then she was killed, and he wished he had been killed. I mean, awful.
Stanley, when I was a high school student, I majored history. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I When I went to the military, I went to a combat unit. In the summer of 1982, I fought in Lebanon. I saw death in my own eyes, but I wanted to contribute to my country. I always thought I did the right thing. And then I traveled. I spent 6 months in Europe and 1 year in the US. Okay. And then I got back to Israel and started my bachelor degree at the age of 24. And then I met Palestinian students
Mm-hmm.
and I communicated with them. You know, they invited me to their house, I invited them to mine. And the way I see it now is, you know, we we kill the Palestinians, we injure the Palestinians, we demolish their houses. We have more than 1,500 Palestinians in administrative detention. We confiscate their property, their waters. We cut down their olive trees. We put them in quarantine in Jewish holidays. And most Israelis practice their daily routine and they expect the Palestinians to accept it, and if they don't, they can always leave to other countries. Most Israelis expect the Palestinians to accept the occupation, to be deprived their basic rights forever. And, as a teacher, as a civics teacher, the core of my class is the dialogue with the students, the democratic dialogue. Mm-hmm. And the democratic dialogue is an argumentative dialogue. When everybody think the same way and speak in one voice, you cannot have a democratic dialogue. So when it comes to Jewish-Palestinian relations, there is no students who is willing to bring up the Palestinian voice. So I take it upon myself. At the beginning, some students feel uncomfortable, but as time goes by, they get to know me. They see that I'm not so dangerous, and the beautiful dialogue is developed, a dialogue that stays with the students years after they graduate. I have former students that are 50-something, 40-something. They get back to me every year, reminding me things we said in class, and some people don't like it.
Well, this has been a terrific interview, and I will try to get it to teachers, especially in the United States, and to teacher unions. Thank you again for this interview.
Thank you very much, Stanley.